Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and before I get started, I just want to make one quick statement. No one cares about your video game pickups or your video game collection. No one really does. The only person who really cares about your video game collection, the games that you pick up, is really you. And that's quite frankly the way it should be. If you buy video games because you want to show them to people, or if you buy video games for some type of validation, then you're setting yourself up for failure because you're always going to be seeking that validation, right? You're always going to be wanting another thing to display in hopes that someone either in live in person in front of you or someone online will validate you, which is a big part of the reason why you should only buy the things that you genuinely like, the things you genuinely want, and for the most part the things that you're genuinely going to keep. This is something that I've had to learn along the way of building a collection and maintaining my collection. And it's a big part of the reason why over the last 3 days I did a massive purge of video games. I probably sold, or not really sold, but I've traded away upwards of 200 games. I've easily traded away 250 or so games, and really kind of trimmed a lot of fat down into what you see here in front of you. And I'm going to go over all of these trades because I was actually going to make a video about it. I was going to make a long form edited video about the pickups and the trades. But someone, one of the subscribers left a comment on my page the other day asking me to talk about consumerism and the the mindset that goes behind consumerism and hoarding and things of that nature. And I've said it in the past. There's a lot of people who have talked about this topic. Um, Iowa Retro Gamer Dad, he talks about it a lot. He's put out a bunch of videos on this very topic. There are others who have put out recent videos talking about this. But I think as long as what you're doing is for you, as long as you are happy with what you have, and as long as you balance it out with everything else that you have going on in your life, I think you're going to be okay. Sometimes I think we overthink it. We overthink collecting, we overthink gaming, we overthink it, but it's something that's supposed to be fun, right? We're supposed to be having fun with this. I do it because it's hella fun. I have tons of fun finding games that I really enjoy. Every time I've wanted to sell my collection, I think about, you know, just, the games, the memories, the good times, and also the future, because, who knows, suppose one day in the future, I want to open a store somewhere on some remote island or something like that, and where they don't have any retro games. How cool would it be to be able to have a bunch of games to be able to share, whether it be by opening a game store, or maybe it's a retro game cafe, or maybe there's so many things you could do with retro video games that um, don't just be boxed into I buy games and I show them on YouTube, or I buy games and I post them on Instagram, or there's so much that you can do. And I think when you are doing it for you, you will always find a way to have fun with your collection, to do more with your collection than just display it and show it, but actually playing the games and doing, more with it in terms of, sharing it with friends and family is also a huge thing as well. So, like I said, no one cares about your games. No one cares about your pickups at the end of the day. People will watch. And I know in the past, people have watched my pickup videos. They watch some of what I get, because watching pickups videos is cool because you're able to see games that you maybe never heard of. You might, watch a video and discover, oh shoot, there's this game out. I didn't know that this game was out. Um, Let me go pick it up. Let me go try it out. And I know that that's something that I've done in the past, and it's been great, right? So with all that being said, I'm gonna go over just the last 3 days in full. And like I said, probably in tomorrow's video, I'm gonna really talk about like the hoarding, the mentality that goes behind collecting, and everything in between. So for those of you who have not been following since Monday, I had about, I want to say 6 or 7 boxes of video games. Granted, at least 35 to 40% of those games were free. Games that I just got for free from GameStop. Games that they couldn't accept, they weren't scanning in for whatever the case, whatever the reason, and I was able to get those games. I split the selling of those games between 3 stores. Some stores I used trade credit. Some of the stores I just did straight up trades. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the last 3 days, this is what I'm left with. I'm left with a console, all of these games, and about $80 in trade credit, which I plan on using hopefully before the end of the week. So you guys have already heard about the trade that I made where I picked up R-Type Final, Fatal Frame 2, and Lost Kingdoms. You're all already aware of that. Well, earlier today, I was able to do... Oh, you also know about the Contra trade that I got as well. Since then, I've been able to get in 3 more trades. I picked up a complete in-box copy of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 for the PlayStation 2. I've also been able to pick up a copy of Pac-Man World 3 on the GameCube and Prince of Persia Warrior Within. So those were 3 solid titles that I was able to pick up between the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube. Then on the Dreamcast, I was able to get a complete in-box copy of Crazy Taxi 2. I'll probably have to do a case swap on that, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. And then you all were already aware of the complete in-box copy of Spider-Man that I got for the Super Nintendo. But in addition to the 3 new pickups, 2 on the GameCube, 1 on the PS2, I was also able to get a complete in-box copy of Asterix and the Great Rescue. This is for the Sega Genesis. I've seen this game a number of times. It's not super rare or expensive or anything like that, but it is a cool looking platformer, very colorful, really nice looking sprites on it. And the best part about it for me was that it was complete and in pretty good condition. So went ahead and picked that up. It was a decent trade for me. And then the mothership trade of them all was, I said mothership. Is that a real thing? A mothership trade? I guess the main trade of them all was this copy of, not this copy, but rather this complete in-box Xbox, original Xbox. Now, I'm pretty sure I know the origins of this Xbox, and I'm pretty sure I know where it came from and how it landed in my lap. But I'll leave that for you guys to figure out. This Xbox has been featured on a number of YouTube videos, so if you're aware, you could leave a comment down below. But I was able to pick up a copy, well, this Xbox along with a copy of The Suffering, which is pretty good. I opened this Xbox up and it is in like new condition. Not a speck of dust on the console. It's in really good shape. The box is in decent shape. It's not in the best shape, but it's in decent shape. And it has all the manuals and everything, which is great. So that's that. The good thing is that not only did it come with all the manuals and everything, I also got a huge stack. I'm not going to show them all, but I got a huge stack of Xbox demo discs with that as well. And then I also got an extra controller. Now, the cool thing is that there is like a thrift store near me where I was able to actually pick up 2 original Xbox controllers for about $4 or $5 a piece. So that was good. I also was able to pick up this PlayStation 3 controller recently. This one was $7. Picked this one up, did a little cleaning on it, had to clean it up a bit. Every time I find a PS3 controller, especially an OEM one, I always pick it up. I don't know why, I always pick up PS3 controllers. And then also at that same thrift store, I was able to get a camo PS5 controller, which I thought was pretty sick. They actually had this paired with a PlayStation 2. Why, I don't know. They always get it wrong at that store. Like, they'll put a PlayStation 5 controller with a PlayStation 1. They'll put a PlayStation 1 controller with a PlayStation 3. They can never get it right. But so yeah, so that was, it's been a pretty solid, I would say, November. Better than I thought. Not just because I added a bunch of video games to the collection, but because I was able to clear out a lot of fluff. I was able to turn about 250 games of, pretty much rubbish into about 20 to 25 games, quality games, that will stay in the collection, along with, a quality console that's going to stay in the collection. So I'm not mad at, the pickups at all. I feel like it was good. And to be quite honest, trading was probably the best thing that I could have done, because right now it's just very tough to well, one, it's tough to find good trades. It's definitely tough to find pretty good trades out there. Just, like I said, prices are dropping. Prices of some retro games are dropping. A lot of the low tier stuff is dropping, which is why, with this trade, or with these series of trades, I really tried my best to go for collector pieces. Pieces that I feel like collectors will want, because in the future, even if the retro gaming market bottoms out, there's always going to be collectors. So I feel like if I have collect more collectors pieces than just, you know, a bunch of filler or things like that, um it may be harder to sell. If I ever do decide to sell the collection, it'll be a lot harder to sell if my collection is made up of a bunch of common games. I'm not knocking common games. I think some of the best games are common games. Some of the most fun games, I should say, are common games. But as a whole, because I do focus on the collecting aspect of it, I definitely tend to go for more collector pieces, like this GI Joe, A Real American Hero. Just games like that are the ones that I'll go for. So I don't mind trading away, 100 games to get a solid collector piece, especially at this point, just because I know a lot of games are going down in value. And even if they're not going down in value, like, what I'm realizing too is just one of the things I noticed with, game prices. A lot of games are maintaining their price on, like, price charting and GameEye, but just a lot of people don't want them. Like, end users don't want them, like gamers don't want them, game stores don't want them, GameStop barely wants them. And so even if a game does have like a decent like sticker price, if no one wants it, it kind of doesn't even really matter at that point. So it's a very tricky time. It's definitely returning to a collector's market, a gamer's market, a retro gamer's market. A lot of the casual and speculative buyers are gone. And I remember 3 years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, this time everybody would be putting together Wii bundles, because that was like the thing to sell. Like, Wii bundles were selling like crazy on Amazon and on eBay. Everybody wanted to take a Wii and a Wii Sports Resort, bundle it together and sell it. And like, that's not working anymore. At least not from what I'm seeing. I don't see that really, flying off the shelf. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because as long as you have what you want in your collection, I don't think you'll ever be unhappy or dissatisfied. And as long as, like I said, you're balancing it out with like real life things like family, friends, things like that, I think you'll be okay. But I'll do a more deep dive into the whole hoarding aspect, the mental aspect, and kind of share my thoughts on that with y'all for tomorrow. As for me, I am wiped. It's been a long day of just trading and hunting and such. So I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.